RIP to my dog Jay Smizzy. Hello and welcome to my dog P Fizzy.
Mhm.
Michigan State football fans have a new coach. You and I have not talked about this at all. Literally, not even a text, which I think tells you where the state of Michigan State football is at. If two fans don't even acknowledge the coaching change to each other, it's about where we're at. But Jonathan Smith gone. We both really wanted that. One could say bad man gone. Let's start with that half of this, and then we can pivot to the new expected Michigan State head coach Pat Fitzgerald. Bad man gone. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so listen, I know Jay Smith tried his hardest. I think he put his best foot forward. Unfortunately, his foot stinks. Both feet stink. So to quote the great, I think it was Dorothy, like ding dong, the witch is dead. Yeah. Goodbye, Jonathan. Yeah, he's out of here. Listen, I don't care who we hire after this. The reason I didn't text you is because I don't really care who it is. Bad man is gone. He's gone. All right. And I'm glad that I got to see the very last Jonathan Smith win in person of his Michigan State career. That felt great in front
You
of a
were there?
rocket. I was there. I
What?
was there, and it was insane to see in front of a raucous 217 people, and it meant something to me.
I mean, like just once again, a great example of like where this is at. You just didn't even hit me that you're going to a game. You text me
No,
about
I was
everything.
I was locked in, Gregor. I was there to get Jonathan fired. I thought I might see it at midfield post up, but like I didn't. So I just had to, make sure I showed face.
All right, well, mission accomplished. Despite Alessio Milievich's father disagreeing with this decision, it turns out that our head coach is gone. So
Wait, he did?
yeah, he went to Twitter and said, I disagree with this decision when they
Okay.
announced that Smith was gone.
All right, Buki.
I'll
I, lo
say
I love free will. I love free will use of internet. That's always good.
there's a lot going on the internet these days. Yeah, look, I'm referencing my words when infamously Juwan Howard was fired. If you remember that moment, I popped champagne long before we knew who Michigan basketball head coach's coach would be. Um, I don't think it's appropriate to do the same with Jonathan Smith departing. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I just have weird emotions. Maybe I'm growing up on this. He wasn't a bad man. He was a bad coach. And
Yeah.
I don't mean to like say Juwan Howard was a bad person, but like he did some like very obvious no-nos beyond just be bad at basketball that were
Mhm.
worthy of being fired. Jonathan Smith didn't do any no-nos other than your team stinks. So like we all wanted this to work. It didn't work. It wasn't fun watching you or your team. Nothing you said inspired any confidence. Nothing you did with important people inspired any confidence in them. It's been silent, radio silent for a month. We all sort of wondered what was going on. Well, honestly, what was going on clearly today was what I hoped was going on. It's the best case scenario if you're a Michigan State football fan. You have a competent athletic director who's been moving in silence for a month. And that's exciting, regardless of what happens next. We'll see. The bottom line was this: we were told when Jay Batt took over, he's a great AD. He moves quickly, he gets shit done, he changes things, he raises funds. They have paid Jonathan Smith's buyout entirely themselves. They say money is not an issue. They say expect some news on a serious donation. And they moved within an hour to a new hire, meaning they have been operating silently, keeping all of this under wraps without even the closest reporters that cover this team having any clue what was going on. That's signs of a killer. And it matters to Michigan State fans. It matters to me as someone who wants to see this football team be great again. I think we do have the right guy steering the ship, even if you might not love exactly what has happened right away. He could have waited a year, right? I think we all would have kind of looked at Jay Bat like, what's going on? But nobody would have totally killed him for keeping Jonathan Smith at the beginning of next season. This guy has made it very clear he's not going to accept incompetence. And I think that's why we're here. And I'm happy as a fan.
Yeah, and just to your point too, there are some like situations where it's like, I really didn't like my head coach. Honestly, to your point, it was results driven. The fact of the matter is it was results driven. I didn't like the direction of the program with him at the helm. And you know what? He gave it his best try, like I said, it just didn't work out. And once again, never ever ever forget. that the greatest gig in America is getting fired from a job as a
Right.
Division I head coach. I mean, look, I understand uprooting your family and stuff like that. That's got to be awful. That 33 million will definitely, soften the blow just a wee bit. Um, I plan on making sure that my son builds his resume up right now, starting now, to the point where he just ends up fired.
Right. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
essentially the best thing that could happen.
Yeah,
Does
like he,
Jonathan?
he he's gonna power Boise State to that last Power Five spot. Hopefully, parlay that to a job with I'm thinking Utah, maybe Washington,
Mhm.
perhaps, and then we get fired in 4 years. We're out of there with a 33 million buyout.
I was going to say, does Jonathan Smith golf? But obviously he doesn't golf. So
But Dodger season tickets are going up next season.
like have the suite and all
Yeah,
that. Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, look, you tried. Sometimes you fail, and sometimes you fail into $30 million. Congratulations, Jonathan Smith. Congratulations, Aiden Childs. Honestly, have been workshopping a couple Aiden Childs routes here. The promised chosen one quarterback of a failed head coach is obviously not an easy role to play. But have you seen the Chad Powers show?
I have not. No,
Think all we need is some prosthetics and like give Aiden Childs 3 or 4 years. Remember, young. He's young.
no.
Everything will work out when 26-year-old Aiden Childs with a wig leads UCLA to their first 7-win season in 2 decades.
It was so fun that double overtime win over Boston College.
We'll always have that.
We
I
always have that.
stood alongside you in a handsome man's basement. Tears were nearly shed. The words "this Boston College QB is nasty" were uttered, and now here we are. Okay, the second half of this, to me, the much, 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 much more important half of this. Pat Fitzgerald is the new head coach of Michigan State per sources. Now, again, you and I have not communicated on this privately at all. Normally, if we don't go back and forth on our Michigan State takes before a video, we are putting ourselves in a spot where we could end up debating each other for like 2 hours when we only
Hmm.
want this to be a 20-minute video. All I know is I saw your tweet, and all you know is that I said to you right before we clicked record, I like this. So
Hmm.
I think we're going to be on opposite ends of the spectrum. But what is your impression of Pat Fitzgerald, the new hire?
So like I had this like image in my head, and it's for better or for worse because it's probably wrong most likely. I just thought that it would be a case where we would hire a coach that, I don't know, maybe brought some players with him. A guy that I think has, really good recruiting prowess. And I just don't think that Fitzgerald is that guy in my mind. I might be completely wrong on this, to be honest with you, but he's a really good football coach. Like, I mean, I think anyone in the Big Ten respected Northwestern Pat Fitzgerald teams. Like he was making Big Ten title games. He was winning a lot of games with like seemingly doing more with less, I guess is kind of the way I would put it. A leader of men type football coach. And I get that. And honestly, taking a step back, like I'm happy with that. I just had like in my mind that we would get a guy like a James Franklin or something like that. A guy who is just bringing in all types of recruits and everything associated with that. And obviously, it doesn't always work like that, right? Like just putting him at Michigan State, who knows if he's going to be able to do that or not. But I don't know. I guess I envisioned maybe a different style of head coach with Michigan State.
Okay, that makes sense to me. I can understand why you or any others feel that way, and I'm not overly upset about it. Can I do my best to make the pitch on why I think this is the perfect hire?
You already won. I remember the conversation we had. I tried to tell you like, yeah, Jonathan Smith, man. He made DJU look good. Like 8-4, 8-4 in Corvallis, man. It was special. We were there. So if you say it's good, it's good. I honestly, that fun video.
Well, I guess that not from a like I know ball standpoint, but maybe in just a general football analysis standpoint, that is a good reminder that it doesn't matter who cares or does not care about this. Like smart people could love this, smart people could hate this. We have no idea if it's going to be good or bad. Let's just wait. Like you could have hired anyone, and I think everyone would have at least sighed a breath of fresh air that it's not Jonathan Smith on the sideline. You could have literally hired like a Macy's mannequin, and I would have been like, "Oh, that guy seems like he's got like some shit to him." Like,
I mean, he's got some fits.
yeah. So here's an actual pitch on why I like the Pat Fitz hire. And I mean all of this. Sometimes I come on and like put a little bit of like a flip a switch. Okay, let's talk ourselves into this. I like this. I was pumped up when I heard this. Here's the pitch to me. You and I think, agreed that an A plus hire this cycle would have been James Franklin. I think we weren't getting James Franklin
Mhm.
without some sort of long drawn out public go head to head with other programs and pay him win that recruitment
Mhm.
James Franklin battle, which look, I wouldn't have minded if we did that. Jay Bat pretty clearly like has his own way of doing things that is not let's get in the Lane Kiffin bid offs, right? Like he
Yeah.
wanted to move in silence here. And I don't know the financial details of what Pat Fitzgerald is going to make just yet. I'll be keeping my eye on that. It's not going to change how I feel about it. But securing this to me happened like without much competition. Not that Pat Fitz wouldn't have got a job. He was going to get a job this cycle. But like they did this shit under wraps. I would love to know when Jay Bat first approached this. Like, did he do this shit in week 5? Did he do this shit in week 9? Did he do it the moment they lost to Michigan? When was the moment where he was like, we're going to move on this and not tell anybody?
Mhm.
Because it doesn't matter, but I'd be curious how that process came about. And I do think that's part of why Pat Fitzgerald is the name. That was like the best guy we could go incognito mode and go land and have a
Yeah.
quiet commitment of for a couple months.
I think we know when it was after too.
When was it after?
Had to be UCLA game.
Could have been after the UCLA game for
That
sure.
was homecoming, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That probably was it.
And that would give you like 6 weeks to basically pull the strings on this. And if that is what happened here, I applaud Jay Bat and all parties involved for getting this done. Um, Secondly, here are all the reasons I like Pat Fitzgerald as a guy and why I think the timing of this hire is perfect. He has all of the archetype items, check the boxes that good Michigan State coaches across any sport have. Shit that Michigan State athletics will tell you they stand for. Like the quote unquote underdog. And we don't want to say we're underdogs, but like we got a chip on our shoulder. We have to prove that you're wrong. Let's go bite you. That's basically what Pat Fitzgerald's football teams were at Northwestern. They didn't do it with gimmicks, with flashy offense, with a guru quarterback with Lamborghinis in midfield. They said line that shit up, and we're little Northwestern, but we'll be tougher than you are. And that
Mhm.
got him to 2 Big Ten championship appearances in the Big Ten West. Now I understand people say, "Oh, it's just the Big Ten West." It was. Have you seen Big Ten schedules lately? Since there's 18 teams in the Big Ten.
Also to put that kind of in the same box here, have you seen our own team?
It's
We
like
won one Big Ten game this
it,
season.
right. But it's the schedules these days are like 7 Big Ten West teams. Like
Yeah.
you play 2 to 3 hard games a year. So if Pat Fitzgerald could build successful teams that won the Big Ten West, he's going to build teams that win 8, 9 games with these schedules every year, and then we'll see if he can get over the hump against the big ones. The biggest argument against Pat Fitzgerald that I have seen is what happened in his last 3 seasons. That's a totally fair argument. I believe it was 3-9, 3-9, 1 and something.
Hmm.
That's a disaster. It's really, really bad. I would point out a couple things that did coincide directly with NIL and the portal. And this is not a point toward Pat knows how to navigate NIL, but it's just me saying this. Whoever the coach was at Northwestern when NIL got flipped on was going to fail miserably.
Hmm.
Like Northwestern football was not going to have a budget for football, no matter what was happening. They had just gone to the Big Ten championship game
Hmm.
and they still lost all their players to the portal because they're Northwestern.
Right.
So I would think that's taken care of with an AD that can fundraise at a program with a brand. And from everything I can tell, Pat Fitzgerald is going to be great at the fundraising portion of this.
Yeah.
Donors love this guy already.
Hmm.
Like he will show up to the golf outings. He will shake your hand, kiss your baby, take your picture, sign your autograph. People love this dude. So people love this dude in a way they were never going to love Jonathan Smith. If
Yeah.
Jonathan Smith showed up to your golf outing, you go home like, damn, that dude's lame. If Mel Tucker showed up to your golf outing, you go home like, we should keep an eye on that guy. Every
Damn, that dude's horny.
like literally. So Pat, like, he's just a likable guy that gets it. Izzo's gonna love him. And look, I'll compare it to back to my bad man gone metaphor with Juwan. The number one thing that mattered when you got rid of Juwan was just getting someone competent. I don't even care about the rest of the shit. Just give me someone with a brain who says I have a vision and I'll work hard every single day to figure it out, and you believe them. That's Dusty. And Dusty started doing shit we didn't expect. Dusty's doing a whole different brand of basketball than we expected. Dusty's too big thing, Danny Wolf thing was not the plan. But you trust him to figure it out because he's competent. And to me, that's what Pat Fitz has proven. How do you have a winning record at Northwestern across 22 seasons? Dog, he finished with 7 wins in his final 3 years and still has a winning record in 22 seasons at Northwestern. That's hella impressive. So culturally, I think it's a perfect fit. Your point, everything that people are saying, like, oh, he's not a coach. He has no one he can bring with him. Question on that.
Yeah.
When he got fired at Northwestern, every recruit that had been committed in the last cycle he signed and then one future cycle are still playing college football. So theoretically, I just looked through all the names on this. Now, there aren't any sexy names, but there's an entire class of seniors and an entire class of juniors that Pat Fitzgerald recruited. So, like, the idea that the cupboard is bare, none of these guys are going to come with him. Maybe most of them have already transferred. Maybe all of them stink. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I know who these players are. But I am going to tell you this, the idea that, like, he doesn't have anyone he could call, I don't think that's real. He's got roughly 40 guys across 2 classes that are upperclassmen that he could bring in that have a sense of urgency and a chip on their shoulder too. And those are the best hires that we've seen immediately have success in year one, are the coaches who bring some dudes with them that, like, have a sense of urgency, basically. So that's what I'm looking at when I see this, man. He's got a couple running backs that led the running back room that were guys he recruited that he could, in theory, bring straight with him from Northwestern. I think there's a couple of receivers, a lot of guys on the line, and there are a lot of guys who transferred out when he got fired. And that leads me to the most important thing here. Let's talk about his firing. What's your interpretation of the whole situation when he got fired?
So I feel a little bit in the dark here. I'm speaking on this, but maybe you can provide a little bit of clarity on this. He was he like found not, I mean, not like not guilty, but like he was what's the word I'm looking for?
Acquitted?
He was cleared of allegations.
Acquitted.
Acquitted.
Yeah, not to be confused with what Jonathan Smith did in the second half of the season. That's quitted.
That's quitting. He was
That's
acquitted.
quitted. Yeah, and then this one is acquitted, which means you are not guilty.
I always have some, you know what I'm saying? You know, the whole judicial system ain't really rocking with me, so I don't really rock with them. So the whole acquitted thing in this context, it does kind of make it a little bit strange given the fact that, you know, not too long ago we had a coach who abused his Zoom membership or Zoom subscription. So it's like sometimes you don't really want to, like, I feel like when we hired Jonathan Smith, part of the reason for hiring was actually like, yeah, the guy's just kind of lame. And I think that's good for us.
Yeah. Here's what I would say. Do I wish that this wasn't on the record at all? Of course. Do I think there's any sort of even asterisk black mark on Pat Fitzgerald's character from this? Not at all. Like the story, and I believe this long before I ever even knew Michigan State wanted him to be the coach. Like, my interpretation of this story is like some doghoused players and families went after him. And this could be a misinterpretation. I could be wrong. Maybe I don't have the info. But from what I researched and from the fact that he's gotten a multiple $1 million settlement from Northwestern, who had to fire their athletic director that fired him, Like, it's pretty clear everyone involved on the Northwestern side would put their hand up and say, we made a mistake. Like, that's a guy we wish we would have named the football field after, put a statue up for him, and we fired him wrongly.
Hmm.
So I think the scariest part of that situation for me would be the idea that the way he gets out of that situation is, oh, I didn't know it was going on. Hey, head coach, how come you don't know what's going on in your locker room?
Yeah, the whole head coach, I don't know what's happening with my program excuse doesn't necessarily resonate with me.
That is the shakiest part of this entire thing to me is I don't love the answer. Hey, I didn't know what was going on. But I have zero Pat Fitzgerald, the guy, character concerns. This should not be like put in a line with Mel Tucker and other things that have happened at this university.
Yeah, also Pat Fitzgerald is currently a coach for the high school level, right?
Think he's coaching his kids voluntarily.
Is
Like
his high school nasty? Did we vent that?
he said on one of his ESPN appearances this year, he said they won a state championship, and he's just been helping out with both his sons on the team.
Okay, well, first thing I'm doing once we finish this video is I'm diving into whatever high school that is.
Yeah.
I need to know if they have killers.
Well, he said that, and then he also said, well, yeah, we got a big one coming up next week. You might catch me tailgating before in the parking lot. So maybe looking for donors. I don't know. Just saying. No, I like him, Cart. I mean, I spent 2 decades of my life, I feel like, watching his teams be tough as nails.
Yeah.
So like the last 3 year struggles were bad. I think there are pretty obvious reasons to point to why they were bad. I believe, isn't he still 50 years old?
I wanna say, let's do a quick little check here.
Like to me, you just plucked a guy that shouldn't have ever
Yeah,
been available in his
50.
prime. Yeah, that you can win at the Big Ten level. I'm pretty happy with it, man. Now I will say this. How this is gonna work is very much gonna be like a moving it's a moving goalpost, quite literally. Because right away, I just want a winning season. Like Pat Fitz's Northwestern team this year that's full of guys he recruited and the interim head coach went 6-6 in this league. Like you go 6-6 in year one, I'm ecstatic. He might not. He might go 3-9. I don't know. You go 6-6 in year two, I'll see how I feel then. Um, if this goes the way it should go, the goal keeps shifting upward. Like successful at Northwestern for Pat Fitz will not be viewed as success at Michigan State in year five.
Mhm.
But there is an inherent belief from me, from you watch his interviews, you just listen to the dude. Like he's hella motivated. Like he doesn't need to coach. The same way Jonathan Smith could go sit in the Dodgers bleachers. This dude got a settlement. He should never have to coach again.
Mhm.
And all he wants to do is show up somewhere and basically prove they did me wrong. Like fuck this. And there's a clip from I don't know how much you've been watching all the clips people have been digging up. Justice Spiro's been all over it today. There's a clip of him in after one of their bowl wins. I think they won the Pinstripe Bowl, I think against Pitt.
Mhm.
And he sits at the podium and he closes with, oh, by the way, I want to thank Danny Cannell and the entire ESPN staff rating us a 40 out of 40 confidence on the confidence picks that we would just be happy to be here. We really appreciate the external motivation.
Mhm.
Like this dude fits the entire culture of being a Michigan State Spartan. You made this hire at the right time. Izzo's going to love him. You now have a leg up on Michigan before they fire their coach in a year or two. Now you can build a year or two before that happens. I am called a 9 out of 10. Franklin would have been a 10 out of 10, but it's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I feel it too. And one of the points I see getting brought up a bunch about this too. Also, to your point, if anything, I know if we schedule Northwestern, we're winning because Fitzgerald's a psycho. Like we might only win one game. We're winning that one, so that'd be nice because he's not going to allow that to happen, and he might even run it up on them. But another portion of this is that seeing the conversation around this hiring is that like, yeah, he's gonna have donor support. He's gonna have a lot of money. He's gonna have J Bat, obviously is that's his guy. This is J Bat's guy. J Bat came into this situation and was like, who's dude on the sideline with his hands in his pocket who says, "Oh shucks, that's your coach." Mm, I'd rather not. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my guy. I'm gonna bring in a linebacker with a I don't even know what like a big neck size is, like an 18 3/4 neck who won a bunch of Big Ten games at Northwestern. I'm gonna feel good about that. But I see a lot of people doing the whole, and I feel indifferent about it. But it's like this is a D'Antonio type coach, and here's the thing: that could be right or wrong. If that's what the donors think, then I'm fine with that. Because all the donors, all the rich people, they came up when D'Antonio was the coach.
Right.
So like if they think they can, if that's what's gonna get them to write another a comma or another zero on their checkbook, then yeah, he's a lot like Coach Antonio.
Right. Well, and that you hit the most important part of this. He is a guy that has guaranteed, not even like, oh, we think donors will like this guy. This is a guy that anyone who grew up in the D'Antonio era inherently respects the same way I do. Everyone that watched football for those 15 years feels the same way that I do. That's a damn good football coach and a likable dude. I'd love to get a beer with that dude. Give him a different place, a different brand. He could really win some shit. And you're right. All the people that now should be the people theoretically wanting to pump money into the Michigan State football program are going to be people that fall into that category. So exciting times. We'll see what happens. What would be success for you from Pat Fitz? Doesn't have to be a year one goal, but like give me a point in time and a success metric that would tell you this is a good hire.
To be honest with you, feels like the lowest of the low where we're at right now. I don't really have many expectations.
Just be on the sideline game one, and we're
Dog, to
happy.
be honest with you, like I feel like we're already winning. Like
Mm-hmm.
headshot alone, my coach looks like he wants to coach some football.
Yeah, but see that even this type of energy from you is different than it was 20 minutes ago. Is that just
Sometimes
like now we're talking about it, now the juices are flowing? Now
Yeah,
it's
sometimes
like
I need to talk to someone about this. Unfortunately, I was doing an enrichment activity where my son picks up quarters out of a bin with water in it. It's a long day when it's cold, man. It's a really long wake window.
really long wake window, yeah. And we've been awake as Michigan State football fans for a long time too. And it's been a long time. Man, we've seen some shit. We've seen some shit, dog. How will you remember Coach Chase Mizzy? Got any final words for my dog?
I'll be honest with you, like I really hope he enjoys his life, and I think he will. But I don't know if I can point to one good memory. He stunk, man. He really did. I
I
mean, he
mean, the
was
Boston College game was objectively fun. Like you came out of that game with some energy and like some we got something.
I think that was like an Evan Meyer boost. That was a we played 30. That was a no, what we played 72 that day.
We played 72, the drinks were flowing, Evan was handsome, Joe was singing, like
Right. Joe like showed up on a bike and then went back on his bike to go get more drink. Like it.
yeah, sometimes you wake up the next morning like, damn, that guy's not what I thought he was.
Yeah, like the Boston College quarterback's not good.
Yeah, or there's another name I want to say that I'll text you after.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's not always what you think in the moment, man. Um, players, like I said, Alessio's dad was tweeting. Feel like I've heard and seen a lot of Michigan State fan thoughts that are just like, oh, I don't want to lose Marsh. Oh, like we want Hall back. Do
Can I
you have
get your thoughts
thoughts
on Marsh?
on Marsh, just the player?
Yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about him as a player. I don't blame you if you do.
I don't either, but
It's
I
not
feel
not his fault.
no, it's not his fault, but I feel like the maybe the perception of what level receiver he is not what he actually is. Like he's really good.
I think it all depends on perception, like you said. Like if you took the Megatron Jr. nickname to be serious ever, then you should be like, damn, he's not what I thought. But To me, that just was never all that serious.
Yeah, listen. I think there's with any firing, I think there's a certain amount of like. Obviously, I want to keep Nick Marsh, and a big part of this too, I think, is like who's going to be on Fitzgerald's staff,
Right.
right? Like honestly, I forgot who's our offensive coordinator who's calling plays. Was it Lindgren?
Um, yeah, dude, yeah. I've
Yeah,
been trying to block names out of my memory.
like that dude. Go ahead, like please, I'm done. I'm done with all that.
Do you
So
care? Do you want Rossi back? The rumors I heard were they might get an Iowa coach as the
yeah,
DC.
the Phil Parker, is that who it is?
Yeah.
I would love that.
Gotta say, without knowing a thing about him, just the name Phil Parker, I'm in.
Yeah,
That's my defensive coordinator, Phil Parker.
I'm also a sucker for comparing a coach next to Jonathan Smith. The fact that the second half of the season, like Rossi, like looked like he wanted to kill people on the sideline, I kind of rocked with.
Yeah, I would let Rossi go.
But his defense is stunk.
I would let Rossi go. Fitz is a defensive guy. I think they'll be competent figuring it out themselves. I think Rossi is looking good by comparison right now, and that's about it.
Yeah, honestly, would you take? Because I don't know if they're still some of the same, but like, would you take any current Northwestern staff members,
It's hard because I think a lot of the current staff members got like
other
career
jobs?
got career boosts by Fitz being fired.
Yeah, like I think it was Kafka who was like I think he had some position on the Giants that maybe now he's their actual coach because Dable got fired.
Mm.
But yeah, a lot of guys did get nice jobs once they left Northwestern.
Which is a point towards Pat Fitz knowing what he's doing. A lot of people that he employed are now thriving in their careers. But no, I think you're basically starting from scratch. Let Fitz be competent, Cart. Like, did Dusty have a big history with Mike Boynton and the St. Mary's assistant coach that just stuffed Gonzaga into a locker? Like, sometimes just let the competent person be competent. Give him the
Yeah,
resources, get out of his way, give him support. And I don't know. When your coach has some shit to you, you quickly figure it out. And I think that's what's going to happen with Pat Fitz. We should all be happy as Michigan State fans. One more important data point to me as we come out of this. Did you read Finn's basically like candidate breakdown today, a couple hours before this came out?
no,
So they like dropped the he's out stuff. And then there was like a 1.5 hour period between that and oh, it's going to be Pat Fitzgerald.
hmm
The Pat Fitz rumors were already leaking by then, but they were just rumors. Nobody had really reported on them. Finn's, and this is just, I think, Justin being a good football mind that he is, but he did the same thing not too long ago in the first coaching cycle that was a lot more drawn out than this. And it's basically just his personal big board.
hmm
Like, here's who I would hire. Here's the best name on the list. Let's go down. And then some like, dream best case scenario long shot options. The first name on his list was Matt Campbell at Iowa State. And then there was a second coach I'm forgetting. And then this was the third name on Thin's list. Not saying that matters, but I am saying this. I do think Justin probably knew that this was coming out by the time he put his big board article out,
hmm
or he didn't. If he didn't, Jay Bat's really keeping this under wraps because Thin is my go-to for all things Michigan State football.
hmm
Second, Thin like put some sentences in there that were kind of just like you have to take a really optimistic view of this in order to talk yourself into this one, which just surprised me because I feel like it's very rare that we've heard that type of, I don't know, analysis coming into something he knows is impending, right?
Yeah,
So I don't know. I haven't talked to Thin in a while. He won the NFL Survivor Pool we did. Shout out to Justin for that. He always wins these little games we do. But I don't know. I guess I'm just saying that notably different than I feel like last time when it was just like, a lot of pumping. This is the perfect hire, the right hire, the right hire from like the people in the know.
yeah.
So I don't know. What do you does that matter to you at all? Is this just like people in general kind of being like, man, last time sucked so much. I'm gonna take a step back on this one, or how do you interpret it?
So here's how I interpret it. There's only a certain select, probably a handful, and I'm bad at phrases, but like when you say handful, that literally means you can count it on your hands. The amount of coaches that would have been 100% approval rate.
Name those.
The coaches that would never coach Michigan State.
Okay.
Like that in my mind. Like I feel like that's fair to say. Like the big coaches that are getting hired right now for like the big SEC schools and things like that, those are coaches that would never coach for Michigan State. Like straight up. We gotta have a little bit of, realistic mindset here. Um, but and I don't know, that might be wrong too. Like maybe someone thinks that Michigan State can get whoever they want. But here's the fact of the matter is I have been through not as many coaching changes like in my life with my teams necessarily, but whenever a coach is hired, when is it like, oh my God, we did this? Or even if it is like, oh my God, we did this, like it doesn't always end up great. When the Pistons hired Monty Williams, everyone was head over heels,
You're right.
legit, and he stunk. People were like, JB Bickerstaff, I don't know. And he was actually pretty solid.
I guess
Dan,
what I
Dan
mean
Campbell
though,
got Dan Campbell got hella shit at his little when we hired him.
so I guess what I mean though, and again, I should probably just like I could probably group text you, me and Justin on this and just find the answer myself. But I'm instead of doing that, I'm just purely speculating out loud. So
Hmm.
everyone can feel free to turn this video off and throw it out if you want. The reason I frame it through the Justin lens beyond just he's like the my go-to source of all this stuff is putting yourself in that guy's shoes, that guy being thinned. It's beneficial to you to pump positivity in the guy you know is getting hired.
Yeah.
You build a relationship, you stay
Hmm.
on good terms with that staff.
Hmm.
I mean, just look at what the Ole Miss podcast dude is like doing with Lane on the way out right now, right? Like if God forbid Lane Kiffin had come back, that dude's never getting credentialed again. So
Right.
like this is just how media works. That is not a Justin specific thing. But like the people that are closest to the team are supposed to like support the person. So like, I'm not saying Thin did not support it because I think everything I've read from Thin since he's been announced as hired has been like good. But that just felt like a noticeable. I don't know. Like you'll have to read the excerpt. It was just kind of like, whoa. If you knew he was being hired, I'm surprised there's like an asterisk, not an asterisk because there was an asterisk, but just two sentences of like, you have to be really optimistic to look at this one as, you know.
I'll tap in.
Yeah. Be curious what you think. And I'm curious, the whole situation is peak curiosity for me. Alessio, if you had your say with Pat Fitz taking the job over, does Alessio get a phone call and an offer to stay?
Hmm.
He looked pretty damn good.
To be honest with you, I think it's worth it. Yeah, I do. And honestly, what a change of scenery, or not change of scenery, but like just change of my heart personally. Because there was a time where Alessio had three career throws and all three were pick sixes. Like that was legit a thing. And then honestly, he's been pretty damn good. Like even like getting murdered a lot of the times, he's been pretty damn good. So like, yeah, I think it'd be worth it.
Think it's worth the phone call. I wouldn't promise him the starting spot. Like if I'm Pat Fitz, I think sometimes you just want to like start fresh again, you
Yeah.
know? But you can be choosy. There's certain guys you definitely want to bring back. I would think Marsh gets a phone call. You might be able to keep him through another coaching change. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Any final words?
Bye, Jonathan. For real. That was not fun. That was really not fun. But for one last time, I bid you farewell and say, aw shucks, Jay Smith. Aw shucks.
Should we like should we get musical?
You don't gotta get musical. I'm drunk. I'm happy as hell.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one to beat Maryland.
You do a great U2 impression.
That's James Blunt, which would have been a great nickname for Jonathan Smith. Honestly, he looked high for the last 2 years. That's it, folks. We'll be back for all of Pat Fitzgerald's Michigan State career.